necessitated the amputation of the lower half of his body in one arm.
In a forklift accident, and I gave patient at the right knee with just skin and muscle intact.
G'day, my name's Peter. I'm a licensed assessor instructor for forklifts here in Australia. Today's video is about people who have been injured by forklifts. People who have lost limbs, arms, toes, and one guy's actually lost half his body. I won't be saying much through the videos. I'll let them tell their stories. I find their stories very humbling. It's worthwhile listening and watching and hearing what they're going through. I hope that some of you out there will listen, learn and drive a bit safer, so these things don't happen to you. The first story is about a lady who lost half her foot in a forklift accident. She got it caught between the wheel and the metal guard, as far as I understand. Again, I'm not going to say anything through the video. I'll let her tell the story.
I lost my foot in a forklift accident and I gave up construction after that. My foot was not worth minimum wage. My foot had gotten caught in between the metal pole that was right here and then my forklift that was right here. At the end of the day, I lost my toes for $17 an hour.
The second video is about a guy who lost his leg. An average day at work, like everyone else. He went to instruct a forklift driver how to do something. Next thing you know, he was pinned up against a wall. Watch and let him tell his story.
He should have been a comedian, not a surgeon.
This is Rob, he's 35 years old. Approximately an hour ago, he's been reversed into by a forklift truck and been pinned against the wall. He's got an almost complete amputation at the right knee with just skin and muscle intact.
An operating theatre has already been prepared, and surgeons have begun assessing whether they can save Rob's lower leg. Within an hour of arriving in hospital, lorry driver Rob was on an operating table.
They did a full body scan and a head scan, which seemed to be okay, so it was just the leg that they had to sort out.
But after 6 hours of surgery, doctors were forced to amputate his leg, crushed by a forklift truck.
There was one surgeon, he come up to me and he said he was try his best to save my leg. So I told him he was...
The third video is horrific, what happened to this guy. They say a forklift fell on him from 50 feet, but I think the true story is that the forklift rolled and he got caught up in it, but he lost half his body. Again, he doesn't tell the story. There's a narrator who tells the story, but there are photos of him showing him.
In 2019, Laurent Showers was cut in half after a forklift fell from 50 feet and landed on him. His injuries were horrific. He lost both legs and part of his right arm. Laurent ultimately required a life-saving procedure that necessitated the amputation of the lower half of his body in one arm. Laurent's path to recovery was long, involving numerous treatments. Among these was a fecal transplant, a procedure where donor feces is introduced into the body, to promote the growth of beneficial gut bacteria. Laurent's journey to recovery was not only physical but also mental. He faced the challenge of adjusting to a new way of life, learning to navigate the world with his disability. His wife, Sabia Showers-Reich, played a crucial role in his journey. She was there every step of the way, helping Laurent with his daily activities and providing emotional support.
Not bad.
Everyone wants to see the world from Lauren's perspective, but nobody wants to be in Lauren's position.
For starters, we take this sock and we put Lauren's nephrostomy tubes through the back of it. And then he lifts up and I pull the sock down and make sure that his nephrostomy tubes are coming out nice around these holes. Pull it back Not yet. There you go. Now you go.
Video number 4. It was an office worker. He was an office worker, and every day at work went to check on something within the warehouse. He stepped out of his pathway and a forklift collected his leg. They had to amputate it. Again, I'm going to let him tell his story.
My name is Mark Ellis. I was involved in an incident in May of 2016. That incident resulted in me having my right leg amputated 15 centimetres above my right knee as a result of being run over by a side loader forklift. The particular day that it happened, one of the salespeople from upstairs asked me to check on a particular product in the warehouse. So I went out into the warehouse, and to find this particular material, I took one step backwards and the forklift appeared from nowhere and collided with me. The next thing I remember was they took me off to Liverpool Hospital. The surgeon standing on the other side of the bed said to me, "Mark, I think I've only got one choice, is to amputate." 53, 54 years of age, I had to learn to walk again, and that was the hardest thing. Scary, difficult. It's had a huge impact on my wife, almost as much as me. Our whole operation was closed down for 4 days to make sure that all those work colleagues had mentally recovered to some degree, that they were able to get back to work. How am I going to go back and work with my work colleagues that saw what they saw? And I know to this day it has a huge psychological impact on them. The easiest way to avoid incidents like this is to keep pedestrians as far away as the forklift as they can, always outside the exclusion zone, and must remember that the forklift driver may not see you. So you need to make eye contact with the driver so that he knows you're there and you know that he knows you're there. When loading or unloading a vehicle, you need to be trained and authorised to do so. There is no job so important that it can't be done safely.
Now, this last video is about companies and how they cover up and blame the worker. As we spoke earlier, high risk licence and law, one of my earlier videos, it's everyone's responsibility, not yours alone, but the company's responsibility as well as yours.
Some of the biggest challenges we face in forklift cases are simply that the forklift industry circles the wagon to protect their products, particularly with stand-up forklifts. They know their products are dangerous. They know that thousands of men and women, for example, have lost their left legs in forklift collision events. And they know that they can get away with blaming it on the operator who went to work to do their job instead of accepting responsibility that simple guards would have changed that outcome. They create rules that protect themselves. They look at each other as examples. Instead of examples of safety, they're examples of danger. So some of the biggest problems we see in forklift cases are this sense of a community of manufacturers who have a common interest of protecting the status quo instead of protecting the workers who use their products.
I will leave a link in the description if you want to watch the full stories on these people. There are 3 videos I have found that give the full story about what happened to some of these people. Thank you for watching these videos. Remember to like and subscribe. Remember to do my quiz as well. There are 7 questions for you to attempt.